Hey, Bob, you have any update on Eric and Redeem and Devin Dubnik?
Yeah, Doobie's going to be on the ice today and practice with us. So hopefully he feels good there. Simmer is not practicing today, but he will be on the trip with us. He's going to not be available for the St. Louis games, but he's coming on the trip to hopefully get back on the ice and see how he feels. And Carlson is going on the ice today. So I'll have more read on that after.
Right. Are you hopeful he can play tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I think that I think I think the guys did a good job. Milosh and Clayson. Yeah, we need Eric in, and when he gets in, I think we need him to simplify his game a little more and and have some more urgency to his game. I think that we've talked a couple times. I think his game needs to improve.
I wanted to follow up just one more question for me. Obviously you expressed you weren't happy with the reaction to the March or So hit. How difficult is that to change that sort of an attitude? Is it something that can be done, internally, or is it something where, I guess, how difficult is it to change without changing the personnel?
I think we talked a lot about how we've tried to address the culture, and there's been a lot of good things that have come out of some of the changes that we've made. And I think this is just another learning experience, and I think that a lot of times that doesn't come natural to a lot of guys. And I know the game's changed a little bit, but it's something I think, and I said this in my meeting, that that'll be the last time I have to talk about it. So I think they understand where my expectations are and the culture that we're trying to create here. And I believe that we have a lot of guys in there that care for each other. And I think that, hopefully that's the end of that conversation, and we won't have to address that anymore. And then they'll make sure they're taking care of each other.
Curtis?
Bob, if Eric is able to play tomorrow, do you have to kind of watch his minutes a little bit?
Yeah, I want to watch him, see how he's skating today. Number one, how he feels, and then I can make that decision. But yeah, I think that moving forward, that we have to really be smart after this trip, and especially the beginning of March. And everybody knows the schedule. I mean, they put Minnesota on the schedule on Monday. We're flying back Saturday night, but we're playing four games in 6 nights, 7 nights every week on the way in here, especially in March. So definitely going to have to manage minutes.
What did you think of? I know you just had the one penalty kill on Monday, but what did you think of Knezhov on the kill? And is that a situation where maybe he could take that role, maybe take a little bit off Carlson's plate?
Absolutely. I think that, we've been talking about that lately. The other night, even against the game against Vegas, we had no choice at one point in time, because I think Burns was in the box for flipping one over the glass. We had Simic out, so we were down to 4D. We had to use all 4, obviously, and we got scored on. But moving forward, I think that, we need other guys to step in there on the penalty kill role and eat some minutes, and and maybe guys like Carlson, who are going to play heavier minutes. They get the more even strength and power play minutes, and the PK minutes. There's no reason that Niche is improving every game. Simmer can get more kill when he gets back healthy, and obviously Burnsy and Mario. So that's the way we're trending for sure.
Shang?
Hey, good morning, Bob. Sorry if I missed this, but I guess no matter how Eric looks today, will he be traveling with you to St. Louis? And same with Redeem. Is he going to travel to St. Louis with you?
Who was the first guy you mentioned, Shank? Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. Eric Carlson,
Okay.
No matter how he looks today at practice, will he travel with you to St. Louis?
Yeah. He's going to practice today, so I have a good feeling. If he feels good after practice, he has a good chance of playing tomorrow. So he's of course going to be on the trip, and then C-Mac's coming on the trip, but he is not scheduled to play in any games. He's coming strictly for rehab and on conditioning and things like that. So, but we're hoping that he gets to a point where he can play Monday when we get back from St. Louis against Minnesota.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you actually about Mario Ferraro. Earlier during training camp, you had mentioned that Mario would be a guy that you could see wearing a letter for the Sharks one day. And what are some of his qualities that just sort of make that obvious to you for such a young player?
Well, I think if you spend any time with Mario, you see how infectious his energy is. He's a guy that attacks every day like a new day. He's always looking to improve. He's the hardest working guy out there in practice every day. He practices at full tilt, 100%. And just a fun guy to be around. I think that for a young guy, sometimes they're quiet in the dressing room, and sometimes they just go about and do their own thing. And Mario's a guy that wants to spread his energy. And, I think that's real infectious. And I think that's great for a leader. I think that, he's going to learn from guys like Cooch and Hurdle and Bernsey and these guys and be better for it. But, his preparation and the way he's ready when the puck drops every night, I think says a lot about his character. And then he's a guy that's going to just battle hard for his teammates. He plays that, high energy. He's in your face, hard to play against kind of a player. So he's got his on ice that speaks for itself, and then his off ice, he's just a fun person to be around, and he's always, he's always lighting up the room.
And a guy like that with so much energy, and you came in with him last year when he was a rookie. Sometimes guys like that, they can't strike that balance, and maybe they're too much for a veteran locker room. But Mario seems to be a guy who really has kind of struck that balance where he is who he is, but he also has endeared himself to all the veterans in the room. And so, can you just talk about how he's been able to do that specifically?
Yeah, it is a fine line, and you're right. I think sometimes that can come off as being cocky or being that kind of thing. But Mario's an authentic guy, and again, his game speaks for his actions, speaks for how he handles himself, and I think the guys have a lot of respect for that. But also he's off the ice, of course, he's a respectful a young guy, and he's a classy kid. I mean, he handles himself with class, and he understands the hierarchy and the respect and all those things. So there is a big difference of coming in and being a loud, cocky kind of guy, I guess you could say, for a young guy. But he's the opposite. He's just he walks his talk.
And a last question about Mario, doing a story about him. So thanks for taking the time. You mentioned that he was the hardest working person on the Sharks. I wasn't sure if you meant like on the ice because he's such an energizer bunny out there, or off the ice too, or both.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, physically he comes in amazing shape every year, but I think that when I say the hardest work, I mean, when he every day in practice, he's the guy that practices full speed. When we're doing a defensive zone coverage drill in practice, he's playing that drill like he plays it in a game. There's no holding back or pulling off or, being passive because it's practice. That's what I mean there. And I think, same thing in a game. I mean, you could see he's going 100 miles an hour and, he's a new sort of classic NHL defenseman, not necessarily the biggest guy, but his feet are amazing. Good stick for a young guy, physical. And he can also make that, he can also, exit your zone clean. He makes good heads up plays in the neutral zone, and, his feet allow him to keep pucks alive in the offensive zone.
Thank you, Bob.
Curtis?
Bob, Timo Meier's a guy I'm sure you had high expectations for coming into the season. I think he had 52 goals the last 2 years, just 2 goals so far this year. Where does his game need to go to sort of become that player that, you guys really want, there's in need this year?
Well, I think in the last, I think he's a different player in the last week or two than he was previous to that. I think his game's trending in the right way. And I think that, him and Tommy Hurdle have found some chemistry. I like the way Rudy's playing on that line as well. But, just recently, I think he's found that extra level to his game where he's holding on to more pucks. He's using his speed, driving the net, being heavier and harder to play against. And I think his goals are going to come. I think, he's been all over the net the last couple games. And I think that, it's like Tommy Hurdle, we were sitting here 2 weeks ago and saying he's only got 1 or 2 goals. And then, all of a sudden, where he's at now. So I think Timo's that kind of guy where I think it's going to turn for him statistically. But if he keeps playing how he's playing now and playing a little more detailed, obviously I have trust in him when he's playing that way, and he's going to be rewarded with ice time. And I think that, he's going to take advantage of that. So it'd be nice. I mean, we need to have our top 6 producing to give ourselves a chance every night. I think, we're a team that we score by committee. We don't have the one or two superstars that are going to carry us every night offensively. So that's even more important that our top six is producing.